What's happening, everybody? Boy Big Brandoh, and welcome to another episode of Bullshit with Brandoh. This right here is going to be part 2 to the last episode, and we were talking about my brand Gardena Originals that I had launched a few years ago. And where I left off in the last episode, if you haven't watched it, make sure you go check that one out first before you actually get into this one. But where I left off was things were going good. We're still operating off that same design, different colorways. I think I talked about launching the hats or whatever it was. I can't really remember, but this is going to be part 2. And basically, where I was at that point was myself operating off of doing these parking lot pop-ups. I'm starting to get into like a few bars, and I'm setting up tables and stuff like that. I'm bringing in a lot of my homeboys, like my homie Edwin. He's out in Texas right now doing tattoos, but when he was living over here in Gardena, he was actually making a lot of Gardena t-shirts also. Does everything freehand, really cool ideas, really cool designs. So I told him, hey, I'm gonna post up over here at this bar. You want to come out here and pretty much set up on the same table as me, and we could get this money together. I'm all about getting money with everybody. I want everybody to win. I'm never stingy when it comes to making money. I'm never stingy when it comes to sharing whatever platform that I personally have to help anybody else get on. You know what I mean? If I was a dick, I could have been like, oh, I'm gonna get out here and just do things on my own. But I knew he was already selling t-shirts and making money, so I asked him to come out, sell some shirts with me, make some money with me. You know what I mean? Same goes for the homie Raw Tunes. He was doing 110 South and his own thing at that time. I invited him out to a few bar things and set up tables. Come out and just actually get this money. You know what I mean? So from parking lot pop-ups, I'm already telling a bunch of people that have brands to come out and just make some money with me. You know what I mean? It's not about all of this is mine. It's all about let's all get a piece of this money. You know what I mean? If I'm winning, I want everybody to win who's around me, and anybody that's out here just getting money. That's my goal. That's why I created this YouTube channel. This is why I share a lot of the information that I go through, is because I want everybody to win. I want everybody to have a chance to make some money. You know what I mean? So from there, we're doing the bar thing, right? So traction is crazy because we're selling a lot of these t-shirts. There's a lot of my t-shirts in the city. They're all over the place. I mean, kids to girls, guys, old people, everybody's wearing these shirts, and things are really moving for me. You know what I mean? And it's cool, but at the same time, when you get to a certain point where you have a lot of attention around you, that's when you're going to catch the attention of a lot of other people outside of there. Of course, you're going to have the haters. Of course, you're going to have the people that are saying, man, that shirt sucks. You're going to have the people that say that, but you're also going to be making so much money that who cares what anybody says. That's why me personally, I really don't care about haters. I don't care about naysayers. I don't care about the negative stuff. I don't even care about comments in my videos. If somebody's trolling me or somebody's talking shit, I go back and forth with them all day long. It doesn't even matter. Somebody could say Plastisol transfers suck. Say, all right, why do they suck? And I'll go back and forth with them, because to me, it doesn't even matter. Like, you're not hurting me. You're not hurting my money. So a negative comment's a negative comment. You know what I mean? If you let that kind of stuff bother you, you might not be cut out for this business. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of people that are looking at me now. They're understanding what I'm doing. There's a lot of people that are obviously hating because they're probably thinking, hey, I can make a better shirt than that. Cool. If you could, do it. You know what I mean? But if you're just going to talk about that shirt sucks, I could do better, and you're not going to do it, talk is cheap. You know what I mean? You need to actually get out here and prove me wrong and prove everybody else wrong that you can make a better shirt, because that's what I did. I was looking at those sweaters from Walgreens, and I'm like, man, I could do something better than that basic text. I put my money where my mouth was, and I actually went forward and did it. You know what I mean? And if you're going to come at me and say my shit's weak, obviously prove me wrong. You know what I mean? Make something that shows that my shit's weak. And to me, I'm very humble, and I'm very, very comfortable with what I know that I can deliver. You know what I mean? And if somebody has a better product than me, then by all means, I'll give it up to them. You know what I mean? That's just me personally. I'm not saying everybody has to operate that way. I'm not saying that's the best way to operate any business. But at the same time, I know what I have to offer, and there's nothing really threatening to me. You know what I mean? So at this point, now I have all this attention on me. I'm bringing a lot of people in, sharing the platform with a lot of people. The first design that I released started getting some backlash from a different group, and that different group was saying that what my t-shirt said, the Gardino Originals, was very close to their organization. You know what I mean? And without trying to get into any of the legal stuff, basically what happened was it was like a cease and desist. But before it could even get to anything legal, I met up with this group man to man and hashed it out and talked it over. You know what I mean? And in doing so, for myself, I didn't understand where they were coming from, and they understood what I was doing, but they thought that it was a blatant copy. But I didn't had no idea who this other group was. I've never seen them before, or even talked to them, or heard of them, or any of that. And no disrespect to them, but that's just, I was closed off from what they were about and what I was trying to do. You know what I mean? Like I said, without trying to go too much into the legal part of it, was my design was very similar to their organization's logo. And not saying that they were making t-shirts and stuff like that, but it was very similar. So we hashed things out. I met up with them, talked it out man to man, came to a mutual agreement, and I wasn't going to be selling that t-shirt no more. The good and bad of that was, obviously, the bad was not making money off of that t-shirt no more because it was very popular. That was the one I launched. That was the one everybody was hyped around. The good part about it was almost everybody in the city already owned that design. Maybe 3 times, 4 times they came back and repurchased because their shirt was faded or whatever it was. So people were starting to look elsewhere for other designs, and that opened up the lane for me to offer more designs to the masses, basically the city and everybody around the city. At this time, I had just did some blue shirts with white, and I did green shirts with white print, that same design. After that, no more production. I didn't print any more of that design, and I started launching a lot of other stuff. I did some baseball 3/4 sleeve raglan type t-shirts with a new design. We did the Raw Tunes Killed the City Skyline homegrown t-shirt. We released that one. That one killed like crazy. I was doing hoodies. I was doing a lot of different stuff. And I was still doing the scavenger hunts throughout the city. I'm still doing parking lot pop-ups and posting up in bars. And at this time, money is starting to almost print itself because everybody that owned the first design was looking forward to the new designs. And they took to anything I put out because the city, anything that had the city's name was going to be a hit. It could have been really crappy font. It could have been really, obviously they're buying the Walgreens sweater, so they didn't care what it said as long as it said Gardena and as long as it was there for them to represent the city. You get what I'm saying? So after that, every design that I put out, it was a home run after home run after home run. And I was basically printing money because anytime I released something, people were there ready to buy. So I would release a new design. I would either do the scavenger hunt thing or a parking lot pop-up, or I would be in these bars and just say, hey, I'm going to be at this bar. If you get here before this time, if you're underage, you could get in and buy stuff from me. And at a certain time, I'm going to be here for a few more hours. Only people 21 and over, right? So I would get there like around 6 and I would post up right by the door inside the bar. So if you were underage, you could come right in, buy the shirts, and then you could take off. You know what I mean? You didn't have to go all the way into the bar. And it was safe for the bar, safe for myself, because like I said, the bar didn't turn into the actual bar 21 and over type of thing until like 8 o'clock anyways. So from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, if you were underage, you could come in, buy from me. I wasn't even doing credit cards. I wasn't even taking credit cards. It was just cash only. So I'm not selling the old design no more. Obviously, legal reasons. I stopped selling that one. Now I'm launching new stuff and I'm turning it over really quick. So I'm doing Plastisol transfers and just banging them out. One of the cool things about when I was launching all these other t-shirt designs was I was dropping hats in different colors to match those shirts, right? So if I did, let's say a burgundy shirt with white print, I had the burgundy hat with the white G on there to to match it up. Same goes for the Gardena green stuff. Same goes for navy blue. Obviously, black and white's always going to work. So the baseball t-shirts I did were white bodies, black sleeves, black print. Said Gardena Originals on there. I called that the baseball logo. And it was very like a boxy font. And I had the G on there. It said Gardena Originals. And I put that on gray t-shirts. After that, I did some black t-shirts with white print, all Plastisol transfers. And we were just moving them. You know what I mean? I was putting everything on all style t-shirts at the time. So I was using all style 1301s. This is a question I was getting a lot, was what t-shirts were I using? I was doing all style 1301s, anything 2X and bigger, 2X, 3X. I think I did a few 4Xs. Were all done on Pro Club Heavyweight because the bigger guys like the bigger t-shirts. So I was going through t-shirts like crazy, especially only stocking Gardena, like the dark green, forest green stuff. I call it Gardena green. Black t-shirts, Gardena green and heather gray. Just stocking those, I could bang out all of these different transfers on the shirts as orders came in. Or say if I was going to go out to a parking lot pop-up, I knew what the popular sizes were, extra large, double X. I would go heavy on those, pre-press them, bag them up, and get out there and start doing it. And if you went back and, seeing some of the Gardena original stuff, you would see like, some of the parking lot pop-ups that I did and how I would post and how I would do the scavenger hunts and all of that stuff. There's a few people that went back and they're tagging me in some of the old posts on that page. I have nothing to do with that brand anymore, so it's kind of pointless to, tag me in that kind of stuff, but I get it. I like seeing that you guys are going back and looking at that kind of stuff. But, when I was doing the scavenger hunts, that would be when I would release something really big and then build up the momentum. And then from there, boom, drop the stuff. At this time, in comes the online store, online platform, right? Because my wife put the t-shirts on Facebook, and there was a Facebook group that had something to do with the city of Gardena. It was called like, if you grew up in Gardena, Facebook group or something like that. I'm pretty sure there's out there, that group is made for like a bunch of different cities. This is the Gardena specific one. So now I have people from out of state that want to buy t-shirts. So obviously I operated off of PayPal for a little bit, but then I had to start an actual store. I was using Big Cartel at the time. Big Cartel lets you upload so many things. You could get the custom domain name. I host all my domains off of Hover. I don't get paid by Hover, but that's who I use. It's just easy to integrate to Big Cartel and Shopify and all that stuff. So I have the online store now, and I'm selling the hats and t-shirts. I wasn't shipping hoodies at the time, so I was just offering hats and t-shirts, and then the hoodies were just sold as when I'm doing parking lot pop-ups or if I'm in a bar selling hand-to-hand, stuff like that. Where it got really cool was there was a lot of local rappers coming up. So obviously hooked them up, but they have shows locally in the city. I would come out and start dishing out t-shirts there. My son is a DJ. At the time he was a DJ, so anytime he had a local gig in the city, I would be out there with the table, slanging t-shirts, stuff like that. So leveraging the local talent and the buzz around them and the buzz around Gardena Originals brought the crowd to whatever venue, right? So there's the people that are coming for the t-shirts. There's people coming for my kid that's a DJ or local rappers and stuff like that. So there was always a crowd around whatever venue we were operating out of. So the venue obviously likes that kind of stuff because you're bringing business to their business. So they invite you all the time because you're bringing the crowd. And it's good publicity for the artists, for, the rapper, the DJ, all that stuff. So it all worked cohesively for everybody. For myself alone, things were starting to get a little dry around this time. And not dry because money's not rolling in, because money obviously is rolling in. But creatively, I didn't have the drive to keep doing things because I felt like I was starting to box myself in, if that makes any sense. So obviously money's good, right? That's not the issue. But creatively, I just couldn't expand outside of the city. There was nowhere else to go at that time because the brand was called Gardena Originals. The brand was made for the city of Gardena, which isn't a huge city. And I couldn't expand outside of that. You know what I mean? Like, let's say if I did something that was like towards Southern California or something like that, now I could kind of break off into other cities and stuff to really do this for a lot more cities. But since I started out within the city, I was stuck within the city. You know what I mean? So that right there was a big turnoff for me, right? That's where I kind of started to lose interest. I don't know if it's because that's the way my brain works and I'm always thinking of something new, but my brain, I started to check out really early. And I knew I could have made a lot more money and provided a lot more product for the brand if I would have stayed on track. But I was losing interest, and I was losing interest fast. Like, I wasn't even making new designs anymore. You know what I mean? I didn't have the urge to create a new design. I was just doing new colorways of old designs and selling them. And they're still making money. Like I said, I never released another hat. I just did the G hat, and that was moving. I mean, people still hit me up to this day and ask for those hats. And I have nothing to do with that brand anymore. You know what I mean? So a lot of the t-shirts, all I'm doing is switching up the colorway and re-releasing it. I'm putting some of the designs that I just had on t-shirts. Now I'm putting them on hoodies. And I'm still making money, and I'm still keeping it alive, but I had no interest in doing it anymore. And it's not because I was just creatively, I wasn't there anymore. And that's because I was thinking bigger, and I already kind of hit the cap. You know what I mean? I was at pretty much the ceiling, and I couldn't go anywhere else because everything I was doing was for the city and specifically for the city. It's like, imagine if you were making shirts for Camaro drivers, right? And then let's say that you start out and you say specifically you only make shirts for people that drive red Camaros only. Now you can't sell to somebody that drives a black one or a blue one or white, silver, gray, whatever. You only can sell stuff to people that drive a red Camaro. There's a big market there for that, but it could be an even bigger market if you sold to every single Camaro driver instead of specifically to one. So in my case, that's what happened. Was I kind of boxed myself in unknowingly. I mean, I knew it was going to happen, but I just thought I could ride this wave forever pretty much. And I started losing interest when I knew I could take it and be something bigger, but I had no way to get bigger because the brand name is Gardena Originals. So I had all these other ideas for different cities and different areas. So it could have been harbor areas, South Bay. It could have been all over the place. I had ideas for, Northern California. I had ideas for different parts of Hawaii, of just taking this same model that I built, but to another city, another state, whole nother just region would have been a lot more beneficial for myself. So having those ideas started to really just hash out what I was building with Gardena Originals. So like I said, I lost interest. Money's still rolling in, but for myself, I just wasn't there no more. So going from doing a lot of parking lot pop-ups and scavenger hunts and being at the bar selling weekly, it started going to like every other week. And then it started getting to where I was just doing, an event that either my son was at or a bar invited me to, or I was pretty much just picking and choosing when I wanted to pop up and sell stuff. I had the online store, and the online store is doing very well. So I had no drive to get out there and back to the city and start slapping hands with people and being face friendly with people. And that's when I knew I needed to kind of remove myself from the brand and work on other things. And at the time I had a few other ideas and different brands going on. But being that this one was making the most money for myself, I was using the money from there to fund a lot of other stuff, different brands and different ventures. But when I got approached to sell the business off is when I got excited about the brand again, right? So I'm making a lot of money and I'm doing stuff, but I'm not showing up to a lot of places what people are used to. So weekly people could hit me up or know where I was at to buy shit. But I'm not doing it as much. So maybe I'm out at doing a parking lot pop-up like every, 3 weeks. I would show up on a random Tuesday or something. And then maybe one Friday out of the month, I would be at the bar. So people were losing interest also because it wasn't accessible to them anymore. Obviously, if you live in the city of Gardena, you don't want to pay shipping for something that's just going to get shipped from Gardena to Gardena. You know what I mean? So at this time, a lot of people started to hit me up and I could see the frustration in the comments of, hey, when are you going to be here again? Hey, when are you going to do this? Hey, when are you going to be at the parking lot pop-up? Or when's the next pop-up? And either I'm not responding to them or I just give them some kind of blanket excuse of, you know, I'm all sold out or whatever it is. Because, like I said, lack of interest. And that was my downfall for there. But when I was approached to sell the brand, I got interested in the brand again because there was somebody else interested in the business. You know what I mean? So from there, I made a lot more designs. After that, I was approached to sell it. I made a lot of new designs and I released a few, and then I kept a lot of them just on the hard drive. And I got the momentum rolling again. I started doing parking lot pop-ups again for maybe like a month or two, and I was doing them every week. And then that's when I built the brand equity of what the brand could be worth and projected what it would be worth the following year. And that was in my proposal to the person that wanted to buy the brand outright. So my counter offer to them was almost triple the dollar amount of what they offered, but I had the data to back up why I was valuing my business at that certain number, because I had supply and demand, basic business, supply and demand. The demand was there. The supply was there because I'm doing plastisol transfers. I'm using all style t-shirts and pro club t-shirts. I'm not retagging them. I'm just using the regular tags. All I'm basically doing is pressing them, folding them, and bagging them up and getting them out to the customer. So the whole business model was there. The designs that I was getting ready to launch was already pretty much in the pipe, ready to go. The new designs that I just launched were already like building really, really good momentum because people, they haven't got a new design in so long that when I dropped the new one, it went crazy. So when I ended up selling the brand, I sold it on such a high note that the new owners could have just skyrocketed, right? If they wanted to take over and they were very enthusiastic about getting going, all they had to do was put a little bit of money into, you know, transfers or screen print or whatever it is. I already plugged them up with the embroidery guy who already had the file to do my hats. I already had them set up. All they had to do was just boom. After I sold, I washed my hands of the brand, stepped away, and started working on a lot of stuff. A lot of people kept hitting me up personally, and I had to say it was under new management and stuff like that. Obviously, that always happens, but there was so much weight lifted off of my shoulders of selling that brand because creatively I was so trapped that now I could do whatever I wanted, and all the ideas that I had, I sketch a lot of stuff that I have an idea for, and I'll sketch it down. I'll put it in my iPad. I'll have a notebook in my car, and it was just filled with different ideas, different brands, different stuff that now I knew what it took to launch something and be successful when I make something very, very relatable to the end user, right? So what I learned from starting Gardino Originals was if I make something very relatable that's filling the void for a lot of people who are struggling with not finding a certain product that they like or that they want, I'm offering them something that they didn't know they needed, but all of a sudden it had to be purchased from me. You get what I'm saying? So taking that information of starting Gardino Originals, knowing the popularity behind the name, knowing the relatability to the customer or the end user from myself, made for an easy sell where I didn't have to do any real selling. All I had to do was provide the product and the product sold itself. That's how I started designing for all my future brands. After that was creating designs that were very popular and very eye-catching and appealing to the end user, that the shirt sold itself and I didn't have to do the talking on why they needed to buy it, but they could actually just say, I want that shirt because of the design, not because of who I am, not because of the brand name, or not because of anything else. The design was going to be relatable to somebody, whether it's colorways, whether it's just in the design. Like for instance, Lakers, I did this a lot when I was running around with the homie Bob the Barber. We made a bunch of shirts that said, we want tacos. If you're not familiar with the Lakers, if the Lakers keep the opposing team at a home game under 100, the points under 100, everybody in Staples Centers gets free tacos. So we made a bunch of shirts that were purple with yellow text that said, we want tacos, and we sold them outside of Staples Center before and after games and made a ton of money. So whether it's doing something like that where the colorways are relatable to somebody or the design is relatable to somebody, it just makes for an easier sell. And that's what the main thing that I learned with doing Gardena Originals was, if I could make something that I didn't have to personally sell, like meaning tell somebody why they need this, but if they could just look at the product and say, I need that, now I had a winner, right? That was the main thing that I learned from this. Also, what I learned from doing Gardena Originals is pleasing everybody. Everybody always has ideas, right? Everybody, they find out you make shirts, or they find out you own a business or something, they have $1 million idea for you. I had to learn how to shut a lot of people down by saying, all right, you put up the money and I'll print the shirts. If these shirts don't sell like you say you are, or like you say they are, then it's your loss and not my loss. You know what I mean? And when you turn the tables on somebody and make them put up their own money, that $1 million idea is no longer a $1 million idea. You know what I mean? It's because nobody wants to risk their own money. Nobody wants to risk their own time, but they have the idea. They just don't got the balls to risk it themselves. Us as brand owners, business owners, as small businesses, as people making shirts from home like myself, my balls are big enough to actually risk my money behind my own idea to make some money for myself and my family. You know what I mean? That's the difference between what we do and what other people see us doing. You get what I'm saying? That's it for this episode right here. I hope that summed up the story in a nutshell for a lot of people. I get a lot of questions because you guys see me refer to Gardena Originals a lot. It was a big part of my life and I made a ton of money doing it. There was ups, downs, and I felt everything around operating that business. But it's an easy way to make money when yourself is doing everything, right? I know when you get to a larger scale, you're going to hire employees and stuff like that to do jobs better than you can. But when we're starting out, there's nobody to blame but ourselves, right? Because we're fulfilling the orders, we're creating the designs, we're doing sales, marketing, we're doing managing the books. All of that stuff falls into our lap. But that's the shit I live for. I love that stuff. You know what I mean? So a lot of you guys are like myself and love that shit too. I love the hustle. You know what I mean? Whatever I'm selling, I just like to make money. That's basically what I do this for. So if I can make t-shirts with my own designs and sell them and people are into them, by all means, I'm going to do this forever, man. It's an easy call, easy way to make some money. Hopefully this helps you guys out. Hopefully this gives you a better understanding of where I come from when I start any type of business or brand. You know what I mean? Catch you guys on the next one. If you want to keep the conversation rolling, make sure you leave it in the comments. Appreciate everybody for watching and even tuning in and even getting down with bullshitting with Brandoh. I know a lot of people, I say this all the time, don't like my language or cussing and stuff like that, but I talk to the people that talk like me. All right? Catch you guys on the next one, man. Peace.